Hi class, welcome to week 2. This is Miss Gabby. This week we will be covering botany. Specifically, I created this PowerPoint covering a specific plant, the vanilla plant, in the family Orchidaceae. And that's okay if you don't know what the family means yet. We will be covering that in later lessons this week. So for our vanilla plant, it is in the family Orchidaceae. The genus is Vanilla, and the species is Planifolia, and that can either be Jacks or Andrews. So I wanted to cover a specific plant instead of the basic category, what are plants, because I feel like having a specific example with all of the necessary information is more helpful than covering the broad spectrum of plants. So the common names of vanilla are vanilla orchid, vanilla vine, commercial vanilla, or simply vanilla. And I bet all of you have heard of vanilla before. So the native name of the plant, which I will not even try and pronounce to you, but it stands for black flower. And that is because the vanilla pod that you see in the background of this slide is black. So for our description, the plant is a perennial, meaning it comes back each and every year. It is epiphytic, meaning it grows in the pockets of tree branches, specifically in humus on tree branches. It has oblong leaves, as you can see here, and it has aerial roots. These roots, they grow into and on the tree. We will see pictures later on and you'll be able to understand what that means better by an image than me explaining that to you. So furthermore, on our description, a very important part of this flower is the labellum, which can also be called lip. Now this is important for pollination reasons. It's the part that attracts insects to the orchid, and that helps them to become pollinated. And if they're not pollinated, they're not going to come back. And this is a very important plant for many reasons. The orchid has resepinate flowers, and this means they appear upside down. The seeds are the vanilla pods, and pollination, as I said, is very important and specific with these flowers, and that is where the lip or labellum comes into play. I thought it would be interesting to relate this to our mycology lesson because we learned that last week. So vanilla have a very important relationship to fungi, and this association is called mycorrhizae. This relationship provides the fungus with sugars produced by the vanilla through photosynthesis. In exchange, the vanilla gets water and minerals from the fungus's network of mycelium that allows it to obtain much more than it could by itself. And this particular association involves endomycorrhizae, which is this word right here. And it's a complicated process, but I just wanted to be able to relate this with our topic last week. For locations, now these orchids are found in many different areas, but mainly tropical regions. We look at Madagascar, Mexico, Tahiti, Indonesia, South Florida, Guatemala, and Belize. The vanilla can be cultivated in a variety of different locations, and with that you would have to hand pollinate these plants because they require a specific pollination, and again, without that, they will not grow. So next we look at the pods. Now the seed pods take around 180 to 270 days from flowering before they're even harvested. They are harvested when they are still green and have a slightly yellow tip, and these pods have to cure, and that takes months before coming becoming brown and aromatic and being used in what we would consider like a vanilla extract. And these pods are variable in the amount that you achieve from each plant, and they contain thousands of tiny black seeds, like in the image behind in the background. Lastly, for our economic value, the seed pods are harvested and cured, as I said, to create a variety of things like the vanilla extract or perfume, soap. I mean, vanilla is very important. It's one of the world's most important spices. It's said to reduce fevers and spasms, and people love vanilla. So without this plant, we would kind of be lost in a lot of our cooking and baking. So the vanilla can be grown in greenhouses or as an indoor plant, but they will not produce any of the pods that we need until they are about 10 feet in length. So you can imagine how many years it takes to be able to grow this plant before you can even get the pods. Lastly, Mexico had vanilla plants, obviously first with their environment, and the Aztec people had used the vanilla to flavor cocoa. And I thought that was an interesting fact to add in. And here's a bunch of orchid photos that I've taken. I have so many, so if you want to see something cool, ask me about it, and I probably have a picture of it. Here are my references, and thank you, class, for watching. I will see you in class.